Thanks for joining us here today at Desertwood Days. I am your host, Kathy Blaze, and today I am here with the talented Mark Speno. Welcome, Mark.
Kathy, thanks for having me.
Such a pleasure, such a pleasure, such a pleasure to finally meet you in person.
Likewise.
You're looking mighty handsome today.
Well, thank you. And yourself.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. So, Mark, you know what? I looked up at all your information, your bio, your IMDb. I mean, you just been a busy guy out there.
Well, it's never busy enough. But
You know,
yeah, if you're busy. You're either busy acting or you're busy auditioning or you're busy preparing for an audition or you're
yeah,
taking scene class or you're in a workshop. But I think the key to being a busy actor, it's like the pie chart of life, the things you do and the actual acting in front of the
right,
camera is that little teeny sliver in my pie chart, but the rest of it is all acting stuff, right?
right.
So you're
And that's the life of an actor.
and that's the life of an actor.
Like, give me a pie and I'll show you what we do.
That's right. So you got to make the sliver a little bigger, but the
Yes.
sliver's growing. So,
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. What inspired you to get into this industry?
well, my foray into acting started with I was a my day job for 25 years. I was a private lending real estate lender,
Oh, okay.
and so I was asked to speak at a symposium of bankruptcy attorneys probably 6 years ago. They needed a headshot for the brochure or the
Uh-huh.
pamphlet, and so I went and found a photographer. I didn't. It was a headshot just for that. It wasn't for acting.
Uh-huh.
And a photographer gets you talking like a hairdresser, gets you talking about your
That's
life,
true.
right? And I'd done a lot of things just growing up, not necessarily formal acting, but just being a ham and being in front of the camera, in front of an audience. And she said, "Can I give your picture to a local agent?"
Hmm.
And I thought, she says that to all the guys,
Mm.
right? And a couple days later, I got a call from an agent here in Arizona and said, "Hey, I think I can get you some print work." And I didn't have any formal acting experience. And she said, "But we can introduce you to an acting coach.
Uh-huh.
So for now, we'll get you doing some print work. You get your acting chops going. We'll start sending you out for auditions for commercials." And so at the time, I thought it would be cool if I could do a TV commercial. And so
Right.
that was, the old saying, you walk as far as you can see, and then you can see farther. And at that
Sure.
time, I thought, well, if I can land a TV commercial, that'd be cool. Check that box. And found an acting coach, fell in love with acting.
Oh,
My first gig with the agent was a print shoot for a local casino. And then after that, I started turning into auditions. Then I started turning into TV commercials, and then started, as any actor, if you want to be an actor in this market, start doing student films. Be a
right.
volunteer actor. And so I lined up with
So it
Arizona
seems
State.
like you manifested that. You put it out there and then those commercials started coming, right?
And they did. And
Yes.
I think the very first real acting gig I had was doing a student film at Arizona State University.
Oh, okay.
And I enjoyed it. It was fun. So
Yes.
then I discovered the Howie Acting Studio.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Howie is a really well-known acting coach out of Hollywood. He retired, moved to Mesa,
Uh-huh.
couldn't be retired for long, and so he opened up his acting studio again. And what a great find that was.
Wonderful.
So,
Wonderful. I've never worked with him, but I've heard of him.
well, Bill Howie was the only acting coach that George Clooney ever had.
Hmm.
His son is Steve Howie, who plays the bartender on Shameless. He's a famous actor, and it's just it started my acting journey about how to get really deep into a character
Yeah.
and how to bring something unique, to the scene.
Right,
Yeah, and then
right.
he just passed recently, so
Oh,
his wife Carla's taken over.
sorry to hear
Yeah,
that.
but it was a
And how long did you work with him?
I was in his class every Wednesday night for about 4 years.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So are you working with a different acting coach now?
I'm doing right now I'm online. It's a Zoom acting class with the Arvold Warner Studios
Oh,
out of Atlanta,
oh,
and we're
okay.
doing that, and it's a great experience. So,
And it's a great experience to work with different acting coaches and see their different techniques
mhm.
and different style of acting. I was working with a different. I did this challenge with this different coach, and that was pretty. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just seeing, because everyone has a different technique.
Everyone has a different technique, and I'm always encouraged when I see directors and producers and writers in acting class,
Mm-hmm.
because oftentimes you'll get a script and there's a disconnect between what was
Yeah.
written and what the actors can deliver,
Right.
and or a director that knows how to really direct an actor in class, and you can
Right.
see it when you get on set.
And I love that too. When we have our directors and producers in acting classes, because they're putting themselves, they're learning what we're learning and putting themselves in our shoes as well.
Yeah. Well,
And that's just like having someone over the cooks, but they don't know how to cook.
that's right. Well, and a great acting coach is really a great director. You're
That's
directing, actors on
that's
how to
true.
deliver a convincing performance on stage. How do you find little things within the character that's not written?
Right.
There's it's a Facebook page. I forget what it's called, but they'll put up the actor, a famous actor in an acting role, and they'll roll the script right beside it. You ever see
Oh,
that?
I
And
haven't
so you
seen
can
that.
see what the actor got to work with as far as the script goes, but then
Oh,
you can see what else they brought to the table that was not in the script. And I
oh,
find that really fascinating. Because when you
yes.
see an actor on the screen, okay, they said the words, but they did things with their hands. They did
Mm-hmm.
mannerisms. And I always ask myself, was that written in the script? Did the director tell them, or
Mm,
is that just something naturally or organically the actor brought
that,
to the scene? So
yes.
it's fun. It's fun to see. So when I see a writer or a director in class, um,
And you know what? I'm sure that happens so much that we don't notice it, even with ourselves,
mhm,
that things are happening organically. I mean, maybe our facial movements, our hands, or whatever. I mean, I talk with my hands, so I'm probably doing that so much in the film, even though the character may have not done that, but because it's me, I'm doing it,
ab-
creating that character to do that.
absolutely.
So it probably happens, and that's good that you caught that. That's
Well,
good.
I'll tell you the best thing that happened to my acting career was COVID.
Oh.
As tragic as it was,
Mm.
everything went to self-tape.
Oh yes.
So for a few years there, you go into the room, you do your audition, and you
Mm.
leave, and you never get to see
What's
what
happening?
the,
Yes.
the casting director saw or what's
Right.
on tape.
Right.
And in acting, there's always a
That's
disconnect
true.
between what we think we project to an audience versus
Mm-hmm.
what the audience actually sees. And as an actor, we don't know what that is until we actually get to see it on camera.
Right.
So COVID turned us all to self-tape. So there's no more in the room auditions.
So
But
you
the
can't
casting
blame.
director,
Look, you can't blame them for your bad self tape.
well, that's right. Well, then so now finally you get to see yourself on tape because you're taping yourself at home for the audition. Then
Right.
you play it back and you realize, wait a second, I thought I was being convincing, but now that I'm watching it, I'm not. And so
Yes.
that's been a real good learning experience, is to see yourself on camera as much as you can. You
Right.
know,
Right. You know what? I did a film, and I don't know if it was something with the sound or whatever. So we had to project as if we were on stage,
hmm
and for some that was hard to do, being film actors and being able to keep up with the projecting throughout
hmm
the whole so that it's consistent. So that was really hard, and that is something that we're learning also in our self-contained world now with self-taping and things, is to monitor our voice and our tone and our bodies and being in this little box right here. So this has been a learning experience for a
Oh,
lot of
sure.
us, because a lot of us weren't used to those things. I mean, I use Zoom all the time for work, but a lot of us didn't have to use it for acting.
hmm
So this has been a learning experience for a lot of people,
Oh, sure.
and they're going to be able to use it in other areas of their life. So it's been good in some ways.
We're always learning.
We are always learning. So could you tell us one of your most memorable roles this far?
Everyone's memorable in their own way. I did a independent film called A Life Connected. And I played Charlie Woodruff. I played the father of the star of the show. Kenton Duty was the actor that played my son. Kenton Duty was a Hollywood Disney star when he was
Mm-hmm.
little. Now he's a grown man. He's probably in his 20s. I played his dad, and
Okay.
it was about the adoption process. It was about the foster care system. And they brought in Graham Greene, who was an Academy Award nominee. Graham Greene was one of the stars of Dances with Wolves.
Okay.
He's one of the most famous Native American actors, and so I
Okay.
had a scene with Graham Greene where he plays the judge, and I go in front of the judge with the son that I want to adopt. And there was a scene. He was the son who could never live up to my expectations.
Oh.
And at the end of the scene, I realize he's grown up, and I'm proud of him, and I start to cry, and I'm holding him in my arms and I'm crying. And so this is something I never thought I'd do. I thought maybe I'd get into acting and I could be the next American action hero. And here I am sobbing in my arms with my son. And that was a memorable experience. And it was also a learning experience because that was great. Now we're going to do it again, move the camera. And I had to start all over again from being happy to sad to crying.
Right.
Okay, great. Now let's cut. Now let's move the camera over your shoulder. And so we did that scene probably 6 times.
Was
And
that your first time crying on screen?
in a movie, yes.
Yes.
Not in the scene. In scene class, you practice doing that a lot. But this was, and we pulled it off.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And for you to be able to bring it out more than once, that's even
And to
that's
bring it up more.
That's
And I was
fabulous.
warned about that too, because they said, okay, now you're going to be asked to cry someday on camera,
Yes.
and then you're going to be asked to do it again and do it again.
Uh-huh.
And because that's one of the things about a one camera production. That you got to make it look like they got to be able to cut to all the different angles. So
Sure.
he'll do the scene several times and then put it all together. So you've got to recreate whatever you do the first time, you have to recreate it again.
I remember saying, I can't cry. I can't cry. I'm
Yeah,
not
you
a
can.
baby. I can't. I know until
Yeah,
I
you
had
can.
to
Yeah, you
cry.
can.
Yes, I can. So, Mark, I like to bring up the fact when I have mature guests in my couch
That's
here.
a kind way to say that.
Yes,
Thank you.
it is kind. You're showing other mature actors that there's no limit. There's no time span. You because you're a certain age, you can't get into this industry.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're doing a lot of things out there, and one of them being awesome, which is totally awesome. You're doing the filmmaking, commercials. You're doing a lot, and that's showing them that they can do that if they still have a dream for that. Tell us about the fitness. How'd you get started in that?
Well, I've always been into working out and being in shape, and but I never thought about connecting the acting with the fitness thing that I was doing. And I got a call from my agent. They said, "We're looking for cross-country runners up in Sedona. Are you available tomorrow to be a?" I said, "No one's going to believe I'm a cross-country runner. I'm not built like a cross-country." She goes, "Well, I don't know what you're built like. Why don't you go get some body shots?" And so I did. And that one thing led to another. And next thing I know is I think that you're showing a fitness reel that I did, and I ended up on the cover of Scottsdale Health magazine.
Wow.
And so just you're always working wherever. You never know where this is going to take you. You get an audition tomorrow. Next thing you know, your career is going this direction. So the fitness reel and the magazine cover led to being contacted by a fitness agent in Los Angeles. So I'm also
Okay.
represented by Naturally Fit Agency in LA.
Wow.
And so they've been sending me out. I've got a commercial up next week for a vitamin product. I am the Vitruvian man for the Vitruvian home workout system. And what else I got going? I just had an audition for Beachbody video series in Los
Okay.
Angeles. So if it goes well, you're not supposed to talk about this stuff in advance, but if it goes well,
We're not talking about
I'll
it.
spend a month, January and February, shooting a year of fitness videos for Beachbody workouts
Wow.
coming up. So
I mean, that is totally awesome. I remember my brother had this magazine cover of it was one of the workout magazines or something, and there was this guy in there that I think that was his inspiration. This guy was like in his late 60s, and he was just so built and toned. And I'm like, you know what? Our bodies are just amazing. There's no stopping on our bodies. I mean, sometimes people think, oh, because I'm a certain age, I can't work out anymore. I can't do that. My body can't look like that anymore. But we're going to look at your reel and you can show them that your body can do anything that it wants to do.
I believe that we can be in the best shape of our lives at any age.
Yes.
And I think what prevents people from getting into shape if they're not in shape is they think I have to kill myself in the gym several hours a day.
Yeah.
And then I have to go home and I have to starve myself and not eat. And so you suffer in the gym and you suffer out of the gym. And it couldn't be farther than the truth.
Right.
I don't
Well,
spend,
you know what? That's what, you have so many opinions That's
Mhm.
what society tells us. You have to do this and do that. But you're right. You don't have to go to the gym for 8 hours a day.
No,
You know, it's you could for some people walking works for them, getting them in shape.
I've
Some
never spent
people,
more than 45 minutes in the gym.
right,
Yeah.
right. Well, why don't we look at this fitness video of yours?
Uh,
That's awesome.
that was the teaser trailer.
That was enough.
All right.
That
Well,
was
thank you.
enough to show that your body is just amazing. You need it needs to keep moving.
And I have to keep
And
moving.
now for eight and
At
now for
my
eight
age,
hours a day.
at my age, it's got to keep moving.
Oh my goodness. So what was it like? What was that like filming that? What was that experience
That was
like?
filmed by Jake McCurdy, and Jake McCurdy is the owner of Cinemasters. He specializes in fitness. So for the Chuck Norris home fitness
Mm-hmm.
equipment, he does all that stuff. So it's interesting in the film business. People specialize in things,
Right.
and that's his gig.
Oh.
And so I've known him for some time, and he was kind enough to he had a gym already reserved, and he said, hey, you want to come in and do a fitness reel? And so he's a good friend and a talented director,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done a couple of TV commercials with him, and so that's ended up with the fitness reel.
So is your body like that at all times, or do you get prepared for certain gigs?
Oh yeah, all the time. I look like that all the time. No, nobody can go around looking like you.
So you're not all buff like that all the time.
Well, I'll tell you what though. In this business, you'll get a call at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they want you on set the following day. I can't do that with that kind. But with 1 or 2 weeks' notice, I'm always within 5 pounds of where I need to be for that. I have to be, or you'll miss the opportunity.
Oh.
So yeah.
So say you get a call to go and do a health magazine 2 weeks in advance. What would your routine be to get to where you need to be?
I don't change my routine.
No.
I'm always there's a couple of adjustments I make. When it comes to our bodies, when it comes to our discipline, we all have that one thing we do we shouldn't be doing, right? So for me, it's 2 bowls of cereal before I go to bed at night. That's my crutch. And so I find if I've got 2 weeks to prepare, usually what I'll do is I'll cut out the cereal before I go to bed. It's just always it's that tweak.
And what kind of cereal is that?
Whatever's in the cupboard. We've got the carb cupboard at home, right? We've all got that cupboard at home. Don't go near the cupboard,
right?
So I don't go near that cupboard for a
Mhm.
couple of weeks, but I don't change anything else, and that's how we do it.
Wonderful. So you also brought another one of your movies, a clip to what? No, it's a commercial. One of your
Is it the
commercials.
commercial or the movie that's next?
Okay, we're gonna go to the commercial
Okay.
next.
All right.
You know, patio furniture is also home to the Bliss cushion. You're going to need it.
Tell us about that.
Oh gosh, are we rolling?
Yes.
So I don't do comedy, or I didn't until we do this. But comedy is all about timing,
Right.
and so we this was an audition I did for the patio furniture ad. And in studio, we did that take about 10 times. And the first time we did it, it was funny. All the crew, there's about 15, 20 crew behind the camera as we're doing this. And the first time it was funny because no one really had seen the commercial before. And then we did the take about 10 more times. The next 9 takes, no one laughed. But there was something about the timing of the snap of the glove, the glance over the shoulder, him jumping, he's nervous. And all of a sudden it brought the house down. Everybody in the crew cracked up. And so we knew the time we had hit the timing. And then the director said, now we got it. So if you laughed at the commercial, it's because all those little
All
things
those
came
little
together. The
things
script itself was funny, but when you bring all the little timing things together, I think that's what made it a hit. And so that's been running for 2 years now. They just renewed it because I guess it's done so well for patio furniture.
That's awesome.
So gotta love residuals.
That is awesome. So you also brought us a copy of another movie that you were part of.
This was a film we did for Huntington University, and it's a fight scene. So it
Okay.
shows, and it's called What We Become, and it's won film awards all around the
Okay.
country. And I think what we brought was the fight scene we did at the end where you talk about good acting, because I beat the bejesus out of Sean Berube, and if anybody knew better, you'd know he's the guy that can. I wouldn't have a chance with Sean in real
Okay.
life.
Well, let's take a look at it.
All right.
Looking for this?
That belongs to me. Should have just gave me the journal.
No, wait. Stop.
Okay, that was some fight scene there.
That was some fight scene with
Yes.
Sean Berube, who we talked about as one of our favorite actors. in town.
Yes. So, any new projects coming up?
Shooting a commercial next week for a national fitness supplement
Okay.
that's coming up. I've had a number of auditions in the last week. It could be a busy week. It might not. When you do an audition and then you
Let
brain
it
dump
go.
it, but I've got some things out there that might come back. And
So, where can our audience find you?
well, if you can find me on IMDb, just go into IMDb and you type in my name and you'll find it in there. Instagram is my name, Mark Speno, or you can go Mark Speno Actor on YouTube and you'll find some stuff. Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure having you here today. And thank you for joining us. And we will catch you next time on Desertwood Days.